Megan has arrived in LA, and there was an alarming number of suitcases I saw coming out of the private jet. It immediately reminded me of how Harry described Megan traveled when they went to Botswana for the first time. I want to talk about this contradiction, and I want to give some examples of how this might apply to your own life. If this sounds interesting to you, get ready. This is going to be a good one. But before we begin, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. We know that Megan puts on an act when she meets people. We know that she love bombs, and I think this is just another example of that. Before we continue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the footage of her private jet arriving, and I'm going to overlay that with Harry narrating Spare. So here we go.
She opened her small suitcase. She needed to get something. Here it comes, I thought. The mirror, the hairdryer, the makeup kit, the fluffy duvet, the dozen pairs of shoes. I was shamefully stereotyping. American actress equals diva. To my shock and delight, there was nothing in that suitcase but bare essentials. Shorts, ripped jeans, and snacks. And a yoga mat.
So as you can see in Spare, Harry romanticized their early days, especially the Botswana trip. He claimed Megan showed up with nothing but a tiny suitcase and the bare minimum. Fast forward to now, we see video evidence of Megan arriving on a private jet, and when the door opens, there's a mountain of luggage coming out. If Megan is truly a minimalist traveler, why does she always seem to have excessive baggage? Was the Botswana bare minimum story just a carefully crafted act to fit the persona? I believe it is. I do want to preface this by saying there may have been other people that were on the private jet that also had suitcases. Based on what we've seen of Megan publicly, I think we can all assume she's not a light traveler. Megan is known for mirroring the people she wants to manipulate. She adapts her personality, her interests, and habits to become the perfect partner, the perfect friend, until the mask inevitably slips. With Harry, she needed to be the adventurous, easygoing woman who could rough it in Africa. In Spare, Harry portrayed Megan as a down-to-earth, low-maintenance woman who packed one tiny suitcase for Botswana. She supposedly embraced the outdoors, roughing it in a tent and bonding with nature. The reality, though, is that Megan's actual travel habits, private jets, designer wardrobes, and excessive luggage suggest she is not a minimalist. Before Harry, Megan had never publicly expressed a love for Africa or nature. Her real behavior suggests she mirrored Harry's passion for Africa to create the illusion of being his perfect match. Other examples we've seen Megan mirroring people is her constantly trying to draw parallels between herself and Princess Diana. She copies Princess Diana's fashion all the time, wearing nearly identical outfits sometimes. The reality, though, is that Diana was genuinely loved by the British public, whereas Meghan was initially embraced but later lost favor due to her own actions. In addition to those examples of Meghan mirroring people, we know that she emulates Julia Roberts' laugh, Emma Watson and Angelina Jolie's humanitarianism, I believe. I think she draws on that a lot. And I'm sure there's many, many more that I can't think of right now. Feel free, if you remember any, please drop them in the comments. In my opinion, this Botswana story was never representative of Megan's true travel style. If anything, her real travel habits actually showed the opposite. Allegedly, when Meghan moved to London to be with Harry, she arrived with several massive suitcases. She also had boxes of designer clothes shipped separately. This wasn't a woman bringing a small carry-on. It was a fashion-forward social climber moving her entire wardrobe. Also, during the 2018 Australia tour, Meghan changed outfits multiple times per day. Royal staff later reported how exhausting it was trying to accommodate her constant wardrobe changes. She needed custom alterations, personal dressers, and assistants, and none of this sounds minimalistic. Remember when Meghan flew to New York for a $500,000 baby shower? Hosted in a penthouse, she arrived on a private jet with a mountain of luggage and high-end designer outfits. Reports even suggested she flew a personal hairdresser out for the trip. And then there's this hypocrisy with the private jet. Meghan and Harry constantly lecture the world about climate change and tell people to reduce their carbon footprint, yet they take private jets more often than commercial flights, even when it's unnecessary. If Meghan truly were the bare minimum traveler Harry described, she would pack light and fly economy. Example of these private jet hypocrisy moments include in 2019 when she flew private to Ibiza while urging others to reduce air travel. In 2022, she took a private jet to a polo match when she could have driven the short distance. And in 2023, she took a private jet to Jamaica for a movie premiere despite promoting climate action. Practice what you preach, Meghan. So, in my opinion, this Botswana story was part of her love bombing phase. She wanted to create this illusion of being the perfect match for Harry. But once she secured him, once she had the power, the mask slipped, and all of us, the entire world, saw the real Meghan. High maintenance, status obsessed, and completely different from the persona she created. So, some of the common narcissistic love bombing tactics we see just from this example is her mirroring interests, where she pretended to love camping, wildlife, and adventure, her over the top gesture of making Harry believe she was his one of a kind partner. And once secure, she dropped this act and became a demanding celebrity. It really feels like a bait and switch. So, to finish off this video, I want to tell you a fictional story of Rachel and Tom, and this is going to be a classic love bombing bait and switch story. Tom was a quiet, reserved guy who had spent years focusing on his career. He wasn't necessarily lonely, but he hadn't met someone who truly got him until Rachel appeared. Rachel was everything he ever wanted in a woman. She was warm, charming, and so interested in everything he loved. He mentioned that he loved hiking. Rachel said, "Oh my gosh, I love hiking. We should go together." He loved classic rock. Rachel made him a playlist of all his favorite songs and just happened to love the same bands. He dreamed of a simple, low key life, and Rachel said, "I hate materialism. I just want a quiet life with someone who really loves me." Rachel texted him constantly. "Good morning, handsome. Thinking of you." She planned surprise date nights, left sweet notes, and even brought him lunch at work. Tom felt like the luckiest man alive. Everything was fast and intense. Rachel moved in after 3 months, talking about marriage, kids, and their perfect future. Tom thought, "I finally found my soulmate." Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, Rachel started changing. That hiking loving, down to earth woman became someone who hates hiking. She would say, I never actually liked that. You should have known that." That low key, simple life that she said she wanted, she started pressuring Tom to make more money so they could buy expensive things. "Why don't you ever take me on luxury vacations like my friends' husbands?" she would tell Tom. The constant affection and sweet texts that Tom was getting in the beginning, these stopped overnight. She barely responded to him anymore. Then came the emotional manipulation. When Tom asked why things had changed, Rachel would say, "You're too needy. Stop being so clingy." If Tom brought up how affectionate she used to be, she'd say, "I was just being nice. You thought that meant something?" When Tom reminded her of how they used to be, she rolled her eyes and made him feel stupid for even bringing it up. Suddenly, Rachel controlled everything. She made Tom feel like he had to prove his worth to keep her happy. She gaslit him into thinking he was the problem. She isolated him from friends, claiming, "They don't really like you. I'm the only one who truly understands you." Tom was exhausted, confused, and questioning himself constantly. Rachel slowly withdrew more and more, picking fights for no reason and blaming Tom for everything. Then one day, she casually mentioned another guy at work. She said, "He's so funny. We just click. I wish you made me laugh like that." Tom's gut told him something was off, but whenever he asked Rachel about it, she'd say, "Oh my God, you're being paranoid. I can't believe you don't trust me." A few weeks later, she suddenly dumped him, saying, "I need space. This isn't working. You've changed." Tom was devastated. He felt like he had done everything right, but the woman he fell in love with wasn't even real. Then, just a month later, he found out Rachel was dating the guy from work. She had moved on instantly, acting as if their relationship never happened. Tom finally realized Rachel never truly loved him. She mirrored his interest to hook him in. Once she got bored, she pulled a bait and switch. She had been lining up her next supply before she left. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? How to spot a love bombing bait and switch coming your way. The first is they'll come on too strong and too fast. There'll be over the top affection, gifts, and constant texting early on. They'll mirror your interests to seem like the perfect match. They like everything you like until they don't. They suddenly change after securing the relationship. The affection and interest disappear overnight. They gaslight you when you question their behavior. You're crazy. You're overreacting. You're too needy. They line up a new person before leaving. By the time they discard you, they're already on to the next target. This is classic narcissistic love bombing. If Tom had known the signs, he might have been able to protect himself before Rachel pulled the bait and switch. So, final thoughts. I want to know if you've ever experienced this. If you feel comfortable, please share that in the comments. Does the story that I told you sound like something perhaps Meghan did to Harry? And also, what advice would you give to someone experiencing this bait and switch relationship? I want to hear from you. So please feel free to drop all of that in the comments. I want to thank you so much for listening. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when new videos come out. I'm so thankful that you were here. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone. If Valentine's Day with a narcissist feels more like an emotional obstacle course than a celebration of love, you're not alone. This day can be incredibly triggering for them, which means it often becomes painful for you. That's why I put together a guide called Surviving Valentine's Day with a Narcissist Protecting Your Peace. Inside, I break down why this holiday brings out their worst, the tactics they use, and most importantly, how you can protect your energy. There are also some journaling prompts and recovery strategies to help you process everything afterwards. You can grab it now on my Patreon. I'll leave the link in the description. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.